Hello everyone and welcome to today's podcast. Mr. Nikhil Rajput, the CEO and founder of NxtQube, is with us. Nikhil, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Let's start off with a quick introduction.
Hi, I'm Nikhil Rajput. I am the co-founder and CEO of NxtQube. I'm a product designer by profession, by skills. I've done my mechanical engineering, and my focus has been about customer-led product developments. Post my college days, I worked in the switchgear industry for a span of around 2 years, developing new products for them, and it has been about innovation, technology, as well as a customer-driven approach to understand the requirements. So I am a customer-driven product designer, and that is what I did for 2 years. And my journey at NxtQube has been in a way that we started with a very thorough problem definition, to understand what is the requirement on ground. Because when we started in 22, there were a lot of buzz around the drone space. A lot of companies were coming in, but we wanted to not be a Me Too company, but try to really understand where the gap is, build something around it, something as an emerging technology, and eventually, bring a delta difference in the way we are operating drones. So we did a very thorough research for close to 3 to 4 months, understanding the real gaps on ground. Spoke to a lot of pilots. We spoke to the customer, the end users, and then we were able to find out a couple of gaps, and we built on top of it.
Now, can you tell our audience about the products and solutions offered by NxtQube?
So NxtQube builds AI autopilots. The idea is to empower pilotless drone operations for enterprises, defense, governance. Basically liberalize the way we collect data, we utilize the data at a very affordable cost, as well as reduce the hassles of operating drones. So we build complete AI autopilot with the help of drone docking station that does drone operations completely pilotless. Secondly, we ensure that the key point here is to collect the data and pass it to the right stakeholder, right? So we build our own SaaS platform to give analytics for surveillance, monitoring applications, which is helpful to the end user. So as a company, our focus is to liberalize drone data, pass it to the end user, the right stakeholder, with the least amount of hassles and a very, right ROI cost, so that he's able to then scale drone operations after that. So NxtQube as a company builds AI autopilots and liberalizes the data that goes to the end user.
How does the drone industry look in terms of market share in India and globally?
So the drone industry is evolving. Year on year, we see more drones coming into the space. I'll say the major customers are enterprises, जो data consume कर रहे हैं, consuming the data. We have agriculture, which is like an end use case driven approach. And third is defense, where they're using it for surveillance, monitoring, deliveries, all of those applications. So I'll say on an annual basis, we are growing at a very aggressive rate. The numbers are very strong. And it's all due to, the versatile nature of how drones are built. You can swap any payload on top of it. It caters to a wide range of drone applications. Monitoring ho gaya, surveillance ho gaya. Then we have use cases, mining, enterprises, power transmission monitoring. A lot of, an array of use cases. And a drone is a very versatile machine because you can operate it at different altitudes, working conditions. So the market is growing year on year. It is expected to reach close to $90 billion by 2030 in the next 5 years itself.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yes, today it would be in the range of, close to $15 to $20 billion globally. Most of the key components of these are agriculture, enterprises, and defense. In India, there has been a very steady adoption of drones across use cases. It starts slightly slow, and we have seen this curve across. It starts slightly slow, but as the value proposition sinks in, it kind of takes up from there. So if you look at agriculture as a use case, initially it was slightly slow, but now there are, deployed more than 25,000 drones in India, which are in the agri space. I think around 15,000 of that comes directly from the Namo Drone Didi scheme. So the quantum is growing. Initially it's a slow start, but the quantum is massive because of the versatile nature of the tool.
What has been the journey at the NxtQube?
So 2020 we started with a quick user research कि क्या gaps है, क्या हमें build करना है. We were very clear day one that we want to build something emerging. Me too product नहीं बनाना. When we started, there were close to 150-200 drone companies in India. We didn't want it to be a Me Too company. We wanted to find gaps where we can add value. So a very thorough product research कि आपके customer को क्या चाहिए, what are his pain points, how you can ease it out for them. Second, whatever you're trying to solve for them, is it a pain point or it's a good value add? It's something good to have or it's solving a real problem for them. So when we spoke to enterprises, we felt that they wanted all of this data. They didn't want the hassles of operating it, managing it. And that is how we started with Docking Station. So for our journey of close to 3 years now, we just completed 3 years on 19th of April as a foundation day. So our journey has been a very thorough market research where we really understood the pain points, started building some key features, build an MVP, took it to a couple of our customers, our early adopters, for them to test out the product and give us some insights. We ourselves internally tested it very thoroughly, gave it to a customer, they tested it out, gave us some inputs, and then that rolled the journey for it. During our journey, we also felt that we have to build our own drones as well. But we saw a case study from a company called as AI Robotics. They were building their own drone, their own docking station, their own softwares, everything together as a bundled solution. But they were working on 4 variables at a time. There was their own drone, their own dog, their own software. They were not able to get it together. Working right all the time. Something was failing in either of them and they were not able to pinpoint. So we said we'll start with one product and then eventually go across. So in our journey of now 3 years, we've built almost 4 iterations of the product. It has gone from a reliability of under 20%. So 1 out of 5 flights used to land on the dock. 4 used to land outside. We used to have failed flights when we started. So this was around August of 22. We were testing and there was absolute failure in the technology. But it was a good fundamental validation of what we are able to or what we are planning to build. So from then on, we knew that we wanted to infuse a lot of technology to understand why things were failing. So post that, we started refining the product. It was a very iterative cycle, very extensive as well, because other than software companies where you can build, break it and again rebuild, let's say in a couple of hours or a couple of days, hardware life cycle is very long. आप एक चीज मैन्युफैक्चर करते, एक पहली चीज डिजाइन करते हो, then you manufacture it, then you test it,
उसका सॉफ्टवेयर
then you build the software for it. So it's a journey of like 2 months, and then you test it out and then you understand, this is where it is failing. Again go in the next iteration, right? So it's very extensive because the life cycle is longer. So it has been a journey of almost 4 iterations of the product. It has eventually gotten much better. It has become more robust, more technological advanced, and kind of building a technology like this, which only existed globally. So even at the stage we are in, there is no competitor, no direct competitor of the product in India. So building a global product with the vision of taking it globally in India, we had our own set of challenges, ups and downs, hardwares, building the capacity to be able to do it, because if you're building a very new technology, your team also needs to be capable of building it. So there is a life cycle of learning experiences that goes into it. So almost 5 iterations of the product, it has come to a very good level. Currently we have around 10 of our systems that are deployed across Maharashtra. They are into mining, they are into large solar farms, security surveillance, construction monitoring, inventory monitoring for warehouses. So we are trying to solve for the problem of no hassles of operations for all of these enterprises. So these people operate, while the locations are very remote, right? So we are located in areas like Nagpur, Satara, Faltan, Pune, Nashik. So very remote sites, right? Outside the city. We are empowering these enterprises to now operate them from their office in Pune, Mumbai. So, from there, they are managing the operations, they are getting continuous inflow of data, and and they're able to better plan or better execute and govern the areas. So now we are launching our product globally. This will be somewhere around June, July of this year, where we will have a very major difference of product, right? So just like I mentioned that there is a cycle. So now we are coming up with a much more lighter docking station, very advanced feature, putting in a lot of technology inside it. So those things are being added in that global launch. We are coming up with our own battery swapping module, and during this journey, while we had a hardware life cycle, just like you mentioned very rightly, ki software is also a very critical part of it. So we build our own software where we are giving analytics, they are able to create missions and all of those things. This is also a very key part of it. So we are launching our next set of docking station with a lot of world-class and cutting-edge technology put inside the product. A lot of segment first features, right? We, when we started, we were eyeing the global markets. So there are a lot of features which are segment first. They are not there anywhere globally as well. So such kind of features are coming in. We are coming up with battery swapping module, and we will keep on very aggressively expanding this same product line. Secondly, we are coming with a newer set of product line. So just like we were speaking that, the second use case is drone deliveries, right? So we are coming up with our own docking station that can do drone deliveries as well.
ऐसे ड्रोन का कैपेसिटी रहता है कि इतना वो ज्यादा नहीं कर सकता है
जी। तो मैम क्या होता है ना, अभी ड्रोन का कैपेसिटी 8 किलोमीटर के आसपास होता है।
अच्छा,
वो 8 किलोमीटर आपके लिए कवर कर लेगा। अगर आप रेक्टेंगुलर मतलब 8 किलोमीटर इन अ स्ट्रेट लाइन, इफ यू लुक एट अ रेक्टेंगुलर एरिया दैट इज 1000 एकर्स, मतलब 4 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर के आसपास वो कवर कर लेगा।
अच्छा,
हाँ, विच इज अ वेरी मैसिव एरिया। 4000 एकर्स इज, आई विल से, जस्ट टू गिव यू एन एरिया, हम लोग पूरा कोलाबा और ये सब वाला जो एरिया है, नरीमन पॉइंट से लेके यहाँ तक, वो हम लोग 1 या 2 ड्रोन सिस्टम से पूरा कवर
हो जाए।
हाँ, वो पूरा हम कोस्ट लाइन मॉनिटर कर सकते हैं। सो दैट इज द वैल्यू एड ऑफ इट। एंड एज टेक्नोलॉजी इज इमर्जिंग फर्दर, ये जो हम लोग 8 किलोमीटर की बात कर रहे हैं, ये बहुत क्विकली 15 या 20 किलोमीटर तक चला जाएगा। सो द इफेक्टिवनेस ऑफ द ड्रोन विल ग्रो, एज द मार्केट इज ग्रोइंग, टेक्नोलॉजी इज इवॉल्विंग. There is very good work that is happening in the drone space. काफी ground breaking चीजें हो रही है. In terms of the technology, we are competing with the global leaders. So US, Israel, Iran, China, they are the global leaders in this space. But I think the Indian drone industry is having the right mindset. They are building their technological capabilities. We will be, I'll say, a key player in the drone space globally as well. So the market is ever growing. It will, I believe we are very conservative. हम बहुत underestimate कर रहे हैं drone markets को. It is going to scale further as well. And I believe that 2 major use cases which will disrupt the drone space. One of them is surveillance and monitoring for smart cities. So India has a lot of smart cities. So drone as a first responder, ये सारी cities को हम coverage कर पाएंगे completely. Where if there is an incident, emergency call, fire, smoke, all of those are detected, your drone will become the eyes in the sky.
Yeah, right.
So before your, let's say, ambulance can reach or your your firefighting team can reach there, a drone will reach quickly and tell you what is happening on ground. So you are better prepared, right? So we will empower all smart cities to be to have better governance, better decision making, very effective approach of doing it. And second use case which I believe will disrupt is drone based deliveries.
Okay.
So drone will deliver things to you on a repetitive basis.
Yeah, right.
I think that will be a complete game changer. So we are seeing good adoption now happening in Bangalore as well.
और ऐसा कुछ होता है कि यानी एक ड्रोन इतना एरिया कवर करता है, तो दूसरा ड्रोन आया तो डिस्टर्ब होता है, ऐसा कुछ?
नहीं. So basically drones जो होते हैं वो one-on-one communication पे काम करते हैं. So they are on one-on-one connected. So irrespective of where the other drone is flying or what commands it is getting, this drone will always follow the path that is given to it.
Acha, okay.
So in the same area, we can have a fleet of drones. That's not a challenge.
Okay.
They'll keep on. So there's a concept called a swarm drones, which is taking up in India. You would have seen the drones flying in the IPL opening ceremonies.
अभी हमने मास्टर शेफ में भी दिखा था कि ड्रोन लेके आते हैं.
अच्छा. डिलीवर करने के लिए आते हैं. Exactly. Right. So that is a part of delivery. So वैसे हम लोग longer range में deliver करेंगे. So I was saying कि फिर ये जब deliveries होंगी, there will be I'll say a lot of fleet of drones flying in the same area. But the technology is evolving that we will be able to cater to it. It's already there. But as the scale increases, we are ready.
हाँ.
तो हम क्या करते हैं मैम, आपने ड्रोन्स देखे हैं, तो हम जब ड्रोन फ्लाई करते हैं ना, तो एक बंदा एक रिमोट कंट्रोल लेके बैठता है और वो फ्लाई करता है. ठीक है, तो आपको समझो अभी आपके 2 या 3 लोकेशन है, मुंबई में 3 लोकेशन है. आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा, 3 पायलट्स भेजने पड़ेंगे, फिर वो उधर जाएंगे, फिर वो फ्लाई करेंगे. हमने क्या किया हुआ है, एक ऐसा ड्रोन डॉकिंग स्टेशन बनाया है जिसको हम AI पायलट बोलते हैं, ऑटोनोमस ऑटो पायलट बोलते हैं. वो ड्रोन के साथ वो डॉकिंग स्टेशन आप ऑन फील्ड डिप्लॉय कर दो. ठीक है, तीनों लोकेशन पे डिप्लॉय कर दो. अभी आपको 3 पायलट की जरूरत नहीं है, आपको एक ही पायलट रखना है, वो ऑफिस में बैठेगा और ऑपरेट करेगा. तो वो जो डॉकिंग स्टेशन है वो ऑटो पायलट बन जाता है. तो जो भी चीज एक पायलट करेगा वो डॉकिंग स्टेशन को प्रोग्राम किया हुआ है टू डू इट मच मोर इफेक्टिवली. मतलब पायलट क्या होता है कि समझो हड़बड़ी में ड्रोन क्रैश कर देगा, बट ये एक प्रोसेस से चलता है, एक सिस्टम से चलता है, तो क्रैशेस मिनिमाइज हो जाते हैं. सेकेंडली अभी क्या होगा, आपको हर सुबह पायलट भेजना पड़ेगा, फिर एक दिन उसने छुट्टी ले लिया, 2 दिन छुट्टी ले लिया, आपको फिर बैकअप पायलट भेजो. पर वो जो डॉकिंग स्टेशन है वो 24 घंटा चलता ही रहेगा. और सेकेंड, क्योंकि अभी पूरा ऑपरेशंस ऑटोमेट हो गया है, आपको इधर आप एज अ लेमैन या फिर आपको कोई स्किल भी नहीं होगा उस एरिया में, आप भी उसको ऑपरेट कर पाओगे, क्योंकि आपको सिर्फ जैसे आप गेम खेलते हो वैसे बस सिमुलेट करना है, वो अपना अपना उड़ता रहेगा. तो हम क्या एम्पावर कर रहे हैं कि एंटरप्राइजेस को बहुत ज्यादा स्ट्रेस होता है, मतलब क्योंकि नया टेक्नोलॉजी आता है ना, तो गलतियां होती है, कौन रिस्पॉन्सिबल होगा. तो फिर वो लोग पायलट्स लेके आते हैं, वो फिर वो पायलट का लाइफ साइकिल भी छोटा होता है. क्योंकि ऑन फील्ड अभी मैं एक माइनिंग फैसिलिटी में था, तो वहाँ पे हम लोग रात में फ्लाई कर रहे थे और एक बंदे के पैर के ऊपर से रसल स्वाइपर गया. जब वो उड़ा रहा था रात को माइनिंग में, क्योंकि वो बहुत रिमोट होता है. उसके बाद वो बंदा 2 दिन आया ही नहीं फ्लाई करने में.
अच्छा,
उस डर के मारे क्योंकि रसल स्वाइपर इज द मोस्ट वेनेमस स्नेक इन इंडिया. तो हम ऐसी चीजों को एम्पावर कर रहे हैं कि आप एक बार सिस्टम डिप्लॉय कर दोगे तो आपका जो पायलट है उसको बहुत स्टेबल जॉब रहेगा, AI आ जाएगा उसमें. और आपका जो पायलट जो ऑन फील्ड एक्सट्रीम कंडीशंस में ऑपरेट करता है ना, धूप, बारिश, ठंडी,
अच्छा,
हाँ, वो महीने में 22-23 दिन ट्रैवल करता रहता है, तो बहुत हार्श लाइफ है पायलट का. फिर वो हार्श होने की वजह से वो आइटरेशन रेट भी बहुत है कि वो आएगा एंथुसियास्टिकली कि मैं आई वांट टू फ्लाई ड्रोन्स, लर्न दिस. वो 1 साल करेगा, बोलेगा नहीं हो रहा है, बिकॉज माई लाइफ इज टेकिंग अ हिट, माई हेल्थ इज टेकिंग अ हिट, फिर छोड़ देते. फिर वापस देयर इज अगेन आई विल से अ हैसल ऑफ गेटिंग न्यू पायलट इन. सिस्टम ड्रिवन अप्रोच से वो सारा
अच्छा
ऑटोनॉमस हो जाएगा.
When there will be high numbers of drone, will there be a traffic jam in the air?
Very interesting question. What is happening in the drone space is because we are, kind of at the moment planning for the long-term game. There is a new technology that has come, which is called as urban traffic management, UTM.
Achha, okay.
What it does is, just like there are specific flight paths for aeroplanes that if I am going from Mumbai to Dubai, this is the flight path I have to take at this altitude. Yes. Depending on the category of drones, there will be different flight paths that will be created. It will be at a different altitude. The way a drone will cross over another drone, at what altitude, all of that is being defined by a couple of key players, as well as the government is also trying to build their own UTM to, I'll say as a air traffic control for drones. So that is definitely coming up, and because we have a massive airspace up, so starting from 150 meters, 200 meters, up to a higher altitude of up to 400 meters, we can always fly a drone. So there are multiple layers in which there will be drone flying that will happen. But I hope that there comes a time where we do have a traffic jam in the air. We should be able to have that high number of drones flying in the air. And I'm sure that the drone industry is evolving, innovating so quickly that we would have foreseen this and built something on top of it further to rectify. But I think it's a good to have problem of having traffic jams in the air.
For you.
For us.
Correct. And one more question. Won't there be a privacy issue when there are so many drones in the air?
Yes, that's again one very interesting question. There will be a couple of challenges because these drones will be flying over buildings, townships. So initially, yes, we might have to retweak the model a bit we will have to retweak the technology where we are not retaining any data. Privacy comes, or privacy issues come when we are retaining the data and we are leveraging it for something else, right? So I believe that there are regulations already in the US, Europe, which cater and safeguard the privacy of people in the surrounding where the drone is flying. So there are some areas where you are not allowed to fly the drone. So that's the one way of doing it. So there are red zone, yellow zones and green zones. Okay. So green zone you can fly, yellow you need permission, and red you are not allowed to fly. So you need the permission of a central government officer. So that is one way of ensuring that there is no unauthorized flying. We are not collecting or having challenges with privacy. But the government will look to liberalize this, because अब जब तक regulations कम नहीं करोगे तब तक ड्रोन और उड़ना स्टार्ट होने चाहिए. Just to give you an example, we were speaking to a township. It's a 350 acres, 400 acres township, जहाँ पे उनको security surveillance drone से करना है. And that is to increase the security levels of the people, the tenants and the owners in that township. So I think these value adds will always supersede the privacy issues. But it's definitely a challenge in a way where what we'll have to do is not retain any of the privacy data. At times delete it after a flight. So there will be regulations in place and a system in place to safeguard the rights of people. But drones on a larger side, I'll say at a longer range, are there to have a positive impact on people, right?
Yes.
So let's say, for example, there is fire or smoke that is detected at your house. There is theft or burglary that is happening. People are trying to intrude into your property. So these are real challenges that people are facing. And they will be mitigated by drones. And when it's all about privacy, they will be, those concerns I think will be rectified over time, where we will not retain any data. We will assure, and the system will assure, that no company is keeping any data or utilizing the data, so that all the people, the citizens for whom we are doing it on the larger side, will all be assured that their privacy is being taken care of.
Let's get into the economics. How are your products priced? So
we are priced very competitively. Our docking stations start as low as 6.5-7 lakh rupees, depending on the specifications. Go upwards of 8.5 to 10 lakh rupees. Again, depending on what specs the customer is offering for, what kind of value-added things they want on top of the product. And while doing it, just like most of the hardware companies, or I'll say a mix of hardware software companies, we have a healthy margin somewhere in the range of 40 to 65%, which varies. If you infuse more technology, it slightly takes a hit. And a very important part of our early customer acquisition goes into a couple of freemium POCs, or I'll say paid pilots, which is like at a no profit margin to the customer, which slightly eats into our gross margins, but we still hold a very healthy margin, which most of the hardware software companies have.
Have you secured any funding for NxtQube? And what is the current valuation of the company?
So we've secured a pre-seed round. So in our journey of 3 years, 1.5 years, we bootstrapped it. Both me and my co-founder bootstrapped it. We wanted to have like a prototype or product that we can showcase. So we bootstrapped it for a good amount of time. We raised our first funding from ISC Bangalore, Art Park. Then we had a pre-seed round last year in August. It was at an 18 CR pre-money valuation and a round of close to $100,000, 80 lakhs. And now we are raising our seed round, which is a convertible note. So there the floor valuation is 35 crore. The capping valuation is 75 crore and a 20% discount on the next round per year. So in this whole investment of around close to 1.5 CR that we've raised, we've done a revenue of 29 lakhs in the past 4 months itself. And the numbers for this year looks very, very, very promising. So we are going via a bit of a conservative projections, because the adoption is slightly slower because the awareness is not there. But as the awareness comes in, it will boost from there on. So this year we're looking to deploy close to 80 systems, have a revenue of somewhere between 4 to 4.5 CR coming in from those deployments. And I believe somewhere between the next 1 to 2 years, there will come a point where the awareness would be so high, and we would have enough success stories to just scale. So in a hardware startup or in a deep tech startup, usually it's a slow start, but there is a tipping point from which it just scales. So it goes exponentially from then on. So I believe that that exponential curve will come for us, for our product segment, in the next 1 to 2 years, where there will be enough awareness where enterprises start asking for our product. And the technological readiness also would be ready to a level that we can scale, because if our product fails on ground, then the whole thing is for nothing, right? Mm-hmm. So we need a very robust, very reliable product. So in the next 1 to 2 years, a tipping point will come where it will scale, because we'll keep on replicating the use cases that we have in India globally. So we are going global around Q3 of this year. So it will tip off from there. We'll start doing exponential growth. Second, we are also looking at the defense space as a secondary use case as well.
Yes.
So defense has very good numbers. The quantum is too high in defense. At the same time, there's no challenges in terms of regulations, compliances. So I believe defense would start coming in for us somewhere around at the end of this year. So I believe the next 2 years are crucial. We want to reach the tipping point as early as possible and have an exponential growth. So we're expecting at least 100-150% growth year on year on a very conservative side. And once the tipping point comes, I believe it will be at least 200 to 300% year on year after the tipping point comes. And the key pointers to that tipping point is a very good awareness, that people understand that a docking station can really solve a lot of problem for them. The product is so reliable. We have a very robust service model that, even if fails, we are here to support you. If the product fails, we are here to support you. So once the awareness and a very robust technology in place, I think that will be the tipping point for us to scale.
How are they making an impact for businesses?
So drones are a very versatile machine, right?
Okay.
You have your eyes in the sky. The drone flies across, has a very large FOV, so it collects a lot of data, and this data can be really insightful to a lot of enterprises. With a docking station, the hassles of collecting this data has gone down. The cost of operations has gone down. So enterprises are able to leverage this data at a level where there is a right cost involved. There is no hassles or processes involved in this. In terms of the value add of the insights, for example, we are doing a couple of mining use cases, open pit mines. So in these mines, they were leveraging drones for security surveillance. They are using it for stockpile inspection. So, then they do blast zone monitoring and a couple of use cases. The way they are doing it, they are saving on a lot of time doing it. When people are involved, there is a lot of operational hassles. The data that comes to them comes at I'll say the efficiency is very, very low. It takes a lot of time, a lot of manpower, and the accuracy of data is also very low. The impact that we've been able to get is, first, completely automate operations for them. Second, give them on-demand and real-time data. So, if you have a facility like this where you want to inspect something, we can initiate a flight within the next 3 minutes.
Yes, right.
So you'll start getting the data within the first 4 to 5 minutes, and you can leverage that for quick decision making, right? So the impact has been that when we deliver this data to them, enterprises have gotten quicker, faster, more effective in decision making. And I believe now is a very early time, but in the long run, it is going to impact all the digital transformation that is happening in the enterprises. So they're able to leverage the drone data to make much more faster decisions, more effective decisions, and in the long run, it will help optimize business operations, and thereby will have major, I'll say, cost impact, reduction in cost. Better decision making will lead to more output or more throughput from the same processes.
What has been the highs and lows of your startup journey, and what is the key learnings?
So it has been a very interesting journey. We have thoroughly enjoyed it. When it comes to hardware companies, it does require a bit of capital. So we bootstrapped it, both me and my co-founder bootstrapped it. We put in considerable amounts ourselves, as well as a complete effort, a dedicated team of 5 people working on it. So, there came a point somewhere around 1.5 years ago where we had completely run out of cash to, further run the product in. We had empty dollar savings. We had taken up a considerable amount of debt from our family and friends to run the product. But eventually, our investors, venture capitalists, ISC Bangalore, Art Park, they came in, after that, eased out the situation for us. Second, because it's a hardware product and, very nascent industry, very emerging technologies. So, we had a couple of failures on ground because when we deployed it, just like I mentioned, we've come from a failure rate of, or I'll say an accuracy rate of 20% to now more than 99%, right? So it has been a journey of ups and downs where the product has failed on ground, it has failed at a demo. All of those things have happened, but we've always learned from those mistakes where we did a thorough research on the root causes and we ensured that that thing never repeated after that. So the highs and lows has been about the amount of capital that requires to build a product like this. We need to be very patient, very resilient, because hardware is a tougher life cycle. We design a product which takes like 15 days for us to manufacture, and then we understand that there is some failure in this, right? We missed on a feature. That at times become very disheartening for the team as well. So what we've been able to build as a company is resilient among the founders as well, where we've gotten more patient. A very strong team. We are close to 24-25 people now, so we've tried to infuse the same resilience in them where through this ups and downs, thick and thin, everyone is continuously aligned to a very long-term vision that we want to be a part of NxtQube, and NxtQube will someday make a major dent in the drone space with its innovative products, a very customer-driven approach. So I think that is something that we continuously infuse in the team. So they've also gotten resilient. Hardware failures, finance. A lot of the time we deploy at a customer site, and during the deployments, the communication is not that clear. So things like that also sometimes impact. Enterprises are slightly slow in their process. So we do a successful demo POC for let's say 15 days, but then it takes another 2 months for it to convert and move into a commercial deployment. So it takes because of the lack of awareness, it takes a bit of, and not having that many success stories, it takes a bit of time to convert customers, bring in the revenue. But I believe this is the stepping stone, right? It's the early adoption curve, and it is bound to tip in. So these have been the highs and lows for us. And during the startup journey, I think we as a team have become better equipped to cater to more challenges in the future, because as we are moving forward, we are taking bigger challenges in terms of the product, in terms of the feature, because we want to be a thought leader in this space. So I believe that these ups and downs are a very important part of our journey, where we know we are now ready to take the next leap. But one thing that we've really valued during this time is a very good set of mentors, who have kept us on our toes, who have given us constructive criticism, at times a very strong moral support as well, because even founders have those times where all of these challenges do impact them as well, but your mentors become a very key role in keeping you on your toes, keeping you motivated, and which I believe then passes on to the team as well. In terms of our key learnings, I'll say one of the, as technological founders, or I'll say as technical founders, we always have a vision product in our mind. So we just feel that if I add 2-3 more products, my product will be better, and that is when I want to take it on ground, right? But please do not think as a technical founder. Think of it as a founder. Just take your product on ground as early as possible. Let it fail, and ensure and give an assurance to your customer that I am here to service you. If it fails, I am here for it. But go to the field and give your product to a customer as soon as you can. We've also made those mistakes, so our learnings come from our mistakes, where we tried to push it for a while, saying that okay, 2 months we will have these features and my product will be better on ground. When we reach to it, we feel, oh no, we have to add 2 more features, right? But it's a vicious cycle. You'll continue to add features, but until it goes to a customer's end, you'll not really understand what more features they want, right? So always build with your customer, take your product as early as possible to the ground, fail fast and fail forward. So even if your product fails, ensure you fail forward, you learn something out of it and reiterate. The amount of time that you invest into something, use it very effectively, because and also align it to some impact points, right? So if I've raised an X amount of funding, or if I have X amount of time invested in terms of people on the product, it has to match to an impact point, right? That I need to have X amount of sales, my product should have X amount of reliability. Always align your goals to an impact point that is measurable. So you can measure the success and failure of the startup. So my whole answer around it would be on a couple of mistakes that we did. We eventually understood where we have made mistake, and now we've created a process at our end to not do it. So one of them is fail fast, fail forward. The other is
don't repeat.
Yes. The second is don't repeat your mistake. Go to the customer as early as possible. Even if your product is half cooked, don't worry about it. Just go to him with a disclaimer that this might fail. And the third is use your resources very effectively. Align it to an impact point and ensure that you map those impact points. You understand, you define if it's successful, if it's failure, if you need to reiterate. Fourth is have a very good set of mentors who will continuously keep you on your toes, right? Connected to your ecosystem. And there are a lot of people out there who are ready to help you. So we connect to a lot of, I'll say, investors, we connect to a lot of industry people, and they really help us enter a specific domain, specific use case, or a customer that we've been going around for a couple of days. They help us directly connect to them. So I'll be ready to ask for help, and eventually you'll get it, and then you'll scale up from there. One more learning has been that keep your team motivated, keep them aligned to a longer goal. If you feel that things are falling out of place, accept your mistakes of where you made a mistake, and then decide to work on it, get it straightened out. I think that have been a couple of
and
learnings.
thus the growing India.
Exactly, and that is why the growth. So we want to continue to do what we are trying to do it better, more effectively, and at a faster pace.
Listeners, we hope you find this episode valuable. Do share your thoughts and insights in the comment. Let us know what topics you would like us to cover in the next episode.